We have this image of success. It's a finish line, a moment of arrival. We see the trophy, the applause, the outward sign that we've made it. And when that moment doesn't come, we tell ourselves stories. We say it's the economy. We say it's bad luck. We say we didn't have the right connections, the right education, the right breaks. But what if the reason is quieter than that, closer than that? What if the biggest obstacle to your success isn't out there in the world, but in here, in the comfortable, well-furnished room of your own mind? The hard truth is this: you have been waiting for success to happen to you. You are waiting to feel motivated before you begin. You are waiting to feel confident before you speak up. You are waiting for a guarantee before you invest your heart, but success isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build, and builders don't wait to feel like building. They show up at the site, even on the rainy days, especially on the rainy days, and they lay the bricks. You are still not successful because you have confused a wish for a plan, a dream for a strategy. You have a goal, but you haven't declared war on everything that stands in its way. You haven't made it a non-negotiable. You haven't carved out the daily, unglamorous, relentless time for it. You are still not successful because you are too polite to your own distractions. That extra hour of sleep, that endless scroll, that one more episode. You treat them like minor indulgences, but they are not indulgences. They are silent agreements you make with mediocrity. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, you are voting for a life of quiet compromise. And perhaps the hardest truth of all, you are still not successful because you are more in love with the idea of success than you are with the hard work of it. The idea is clean and shiny and lives in the future. The work is messy, and it's now. It's full of false starts and awkward phases. It demands that you be a beginner again and again. It requires you to face the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and to just keep building without any promise of a reward. We are taught to believe that success is a destination, a point on the horizon we are journeying toward. We imagine a future version of ourselves who has arrived, and we wait for the conditions to be right for that arrival to occur. This creates a passive, waiting posture. We wait to feel motivated before we start a difficult project. We wait to feel confident before we share our ideas. We wait for a guarantee of a positive outcome before we fully invest our time, our resources, and most importantly, our hearts. This waiting is the great saboteur of potential. It outsources your agency to an unpredictable future and to the whims of your own fluctuating emotions. The hard truth is that success is not something that happens to you when the stars align. It is something you build deliberately and methodically, regardless of how you feel or what the external circumstances look like. A builder does not wake up and check the weather of their motivation before deciding to go to the construction site. They show up because the project demands it. They lay bricks in the rain, they pour concrete in the cold, and they continue the work even on days when the vision of the finished building feels distant and abstract. Your life is that construction site. The bricks are the small, consistent actions that align with your goal: the hour of study, the saved dollar, the difficult conversation, the rejected proposal you learn from. When you adopt the mindset of a builder, you stop waiting for success to arrive, and you start assembling it yourself, piece by piece. You understand that motivation is not a prerequisite for action. It is most often a result of it. The first difficult step generates the momentum that creates the feeling of motivation, not the other way around. Confidence is not a quality you are gifted with before you begin. It is a reputation you earn with yourself by repeatedly keeping your promises and doing the thing you said you would do, especially when it was hard. The shift from passive waiter to active builder is the most critical transition you will ever make. It moves the locus of control from the external world, which you cannot command, to your own will and daily actions, which you can. Success stops being a distant finish line and becomes the quality of the work you do today. There is a vast and fundamental difference between a wish and a plan, a chasm that separates daydreams from destinies. A wish is a passive hope. It lives in the realm of "it would be nice if." It carries no weight, demands no sacrifice, and requires no immediate action. A wish is a cloud, beautiful, shapeless, and destined to drift away without leaving a mark. A plan, however, is architecture. It is a blueprint for action. It is specific, demanding, and rooted in the real world of calendars, to-do lists, and resource allocation. The speech's powerful language of declaring war is not hyperbole. It is a precise description of the mindset required to elevate a goal from a wish to a non-negotiable plan. When you declare war, you are not making a suggestion. You are making a commitment that changes everything. In a state of war, every resource is mobilized toward a single objective. Distractions are not merely inconveniences. They are threats to the mission. Comfort is not a priority. Victory is. This is the intensity that a true plan requires. It means your goal is no longer something you work on when you have spare time. It becomes the central organizing principle of your time. You schedule your deep work sessions with the same immovable commitment as a critical military operation. You protect your focus as if it were a secure communications line. You identify the enemies of your progress, be it a time-wasting habit, a draining relationship, or a fear of failure, and you develop a strategy to neutralize them. A wish allows for negotiation. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm just too tired tonight. A plan, a true war plan, does not. The goal is non-negotiable. The daily actions are non-negotiable. This shift from a passive wish to an active, strategic plan is the moment you stop being a spectator of your own aspirations and become the general of your own campaign. The goal is no longer a distant, hoped-for outcome. It is a territory you are methodically, relentlessly, and inevitably conquering, one disciplined day at a time. We often frame our distractions as minor indulgences, harmless little breaks from the rigors of ambition. We tell ourselves we deserve that extra hour of sleep, that we're just unwinding with a scroll, or that we're staying connected by watching a show. This is a profound and costly self-deception. These are not benign rewards. They are silent, incremental agreements you are making with a life of mediocrity. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, you are not taking a break. You are casting a vote. You are voting for a version of your life that prioritizes immediate, fleeting comfort over long-term, substantive fulfillment. This is not about rest, which is a necessary and strategic part of any successful endeavor. This is about avoidance. The distraction is a tool you use to avoid the discomfort of effort, the fear of failure, and the vulnerability of truly trying. When you choose the distraction, you are essentially telling yourself, this temporary escape is more valuable to me right now than the progress I could be making toward the person I want to become. This constant, low-grade negotiation erodes your resolve like water dripping on stone. It doesn't feel catastrophic in the moment, which is why it's so insidious. A single skipped workout, one missed writing session, an evening lost to mindless entertainment, none of these feel like the reason you aren't successful. But the cumulative effect is everything. They form a pattern of compromise that becomes your identity. You become someone who intends to act but consistently chooses distraction. This pattern builds a neurological pathway that makes distraction the default and disciplined action the exception. The politeness you show your distractions is a form of self-betrayal. You are being polite to the part of you that is lazy, fearful, and complacent, while being brutally dismissive of the part of you that is ambitious, capable, and destined for more. To become successful, you must stop being a gracious host to these thieves of time and potential. You must see them for what they are, active threats to your mission, and you must treat them with the firm, unwavering rejection they deserve. The allure of success is often found in its finished, polished form. We imagine the moment of acceptance, the feeling of accomplishment, the external validation. This idea of success is clean, glamorous, and exists in a future where all the hard work is behind us. It is a fantasy that requires no struggle, no awkward phases, and no public stumbles. It is this seductive fantasy that we often fall in love with, not the gritty, demanding reality of the process. The hard work of success, by contrast, is messy, unglamorous, and deeply humbling. It lives in the present tense, in the daily grind that offers no immediate reward. It demands that you become a beginner repeatedly. It means publishing a piece of writing that isn't perfect, launching a business before you feel ready, or putting forth an idea that might be met with criticism or, worse, indifference. This process holds a mirror up to the gap between your current abilities and your aspirations, and it requires you to sit with that discomfort without turning away. Falling in love with the idea of success is easy. It costs you nothing. Falling in love with the work means finding fulfillment in the act of striving itself. It means deriving satisfaction from the discipline of the practice, the problem, solving required to overcome an obstacle, and the quiet pride of knowing you showed up when no one was watching. The work is not a means to an end. For the truly successful, it becomes the end itself. The journey is the destination. When you are in love with the work, the outcome, while important, is not the sole source of your validation. Your self-worth is rooted in your commitment to the process, your resilience in the face of setbacks, and your dedication to your craft. This is what separates a fleeting wish from a lifelong pursuit. You are not successful because you have not yet made this fundamental emotional shift. You are waiting for the work to become easy and enjoyable before you commit to it fully, not realizing that the love for the work is born from the commitment itself, from the decision to lean into the difficulty and find the purpose and meaning hidden within it. The most challenging truths are often the most liberating. To place the reason for your lack of success on external factors, the economy, bad luck, other people, is to cast yourself in the role of a victim. This is a comfortable story because it absolves you of responsibility, but it is also a story of profound powerlessness. It suggests that your fate is in the hands of forces you cannot control. The hard truth that the power lies in your hands is initially difficult to hear because it carries the heavy weight of accountability. There is no one left to blame. However, this is precisely where its immense hope is found. If the problem is internal, a matter of your mindset, your discipline, your willingness to do the hard work, then the solution is also internal. You are not waiting for the world to change. You are not waiting for a lucky break. You are in command of the one variable that matters most, yourself. This truth transforms you from a passive character in your own story into the author. Every day, you are writing a new paragraph with your choices. The decision to work on your skill instead of watching television is a sentence written in the language of success. The choice to save money instead of making an impulsive purchase is a paragraph of financial discipline. The courage to ask for feedback instead of hiding your work is a chapter on growth. This perspective does not mean that external barriers do not exist. It means that your primary focus shifts from the barriers you cannot control to the response you can command. Your energy is no longer wasted on resentment or complaint. It is channeled into creative problem solving and relentless execution. The power in your hands is the power to choose your response, to manage your time, to guard your focus, and to persevere when the path is difficult. This is the ultimate empowerment. It means that your future is not predetermined by your past or your circumstances. It is being built right now by the person you are choosing to become in this very moment. The hope is undeniable. Your success was never dependent on anyone else's permission. It was always and only waiting for your own decision to stop waiting and start building.